This is a Sauvignon Blanc. Now you'll notice that I tried to say that with some conviction. Now that's because, I have to be honest, I don't generally drink Sauvignon Blancs very often. I have a tendency to choose something else. Riesling, Chardonnay, Pinot Gris, Grigio. Most consumers would be familiar with New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, and I guess it's fair to say that Marlborough is particularly well known. You know, in fact, they're world famous, and so they should be. There's some great Sauvignon Blancs come out of Marlborough, but this one is from Martinborough, and Martinborough is not so well known, I guess. So Martinborough is actually on the North Island of New Zealand. It's actually not that far from Wellington. So unlike Marlborough, which is in the Southern Island, in the northern part of the Southern Island, this is the southern part of the North Island, so roundabout, so to speak. This is the Atarangi Sauvignon Blanc. So Atarangi is one of the main producers, probably more well known for their Pinot Noir, but they are making a pretty handy Sauvignon Blanc as well. So as I'm tasting the wine, you know, when it first enters my mouth, I'm getting some flavours of, getting a bit of passion fruit, but also getting some green apple and maybe some lime and some nectarines as well. And as that sort of that initial fruit, primary fruit, I suppose you call it, starts to develop into some other things in your mouth, I'm getting a sort of creamy texture through my mid palate, a bit of minerality as well, just to add some additional complexity, and then as you then swallow the wine, it's got some really lovely steely length, sort of quite zippy as well. So really nice and fresh. And this wine's had some barrel fermentation, so it's about 30%, I think, barrel fermentation. So the actual impact of the wood is really not that intense, but what it does do, it creates a really lovely smooth texture and a slightly creamy sort of impact as well. So unlike unwooded Sauvignon Blancs, which can be quite fruity and passion fruity, so I think, you know, the wood just creates another dimension and doesn't make it so much of a fruit bomb that to me, you know, some Sauvignon Blancs can be. And so it's a little bit, you know, it's quite refined, and that's something that I find really attractive. So I guess what I'm getting at here is that, you know, don't be put off by barrel fermented Sauvignon Blancs. I know that you know, historically Chardonnays, you know, back 10, 20 years ago were so wooded that really people were, I guess, are now scared of too much wood. So, but you'll find that you know, Sauvignon Blancs that have been some barrel fermentation or even matured in oak tend to have a very small impact of the actual wood on its wine, because the makers don't really want the wood to take over. So you're getting really small impact on the wine itself, but it does add a slight textural component that an unwooded Sauvignon Blanc doesn't have, and I guess that's why I get a bit excited about a Sauvignon Blanc that's had some time on oak, because you know, rather than being one-dimensional, they are two-dimensional, and I think that's a good thing. My name is Joe Lenk. This is episode number 5 of Lenk Drank, and I'd love it if you subscribed.